Okay, in this lesson we're going to look at how we can change the different methods of visualization. So in the last lesson we showed how we could bring our cells in here, and it used the default option here, which is to use a stacked column to actually show your different information. So if we drill in here, you'll see that obviously a stacked column for Germany or France is showing us how much cells according to the size of this. Now at the top over here we actually have a settings bar. So over here you can actually change, for example, the opacity that we're using, or we could change the actual height, and you can see now these actually become a little bit easier to see, so especially Germany, France, United Kingdom. You can also change the thickness, for example, so they become more dominant. We can change the color that's being used down here. So for example, if we wanted to use a gray, sticks out a little bit more, or a yellow color. So you can play around with the different colors over here. Let's make it quite a dark color so it actually sticks out quite nicely. So over here now we've changed the different height and thickness and different options over here that are now showing in terms of changing our visualization. Another option we've got is actually at the top here is our shapes. So if we change this, you'll see that it changes to a triangle. Could have a circle, and so on. So there's different types of shapes you could use. So there's quite a bit that we can actually change over here when it comes to using our columns. Now if I use the next one, which is just a clustered column, you'll see that it will stay the same, because at the moment we've only got one field in here. If we were to add another field, for example, if we were to use, say, profit, now you see that I get two options over here. So one showing sales and one showing profit, for example. And again, I can now use my tooltip to be able to go over here. If I was to use this as a clustered, you'll see that the two will be on top of each other. So then you would need to be able to see what the two would be on top. Okay, so this is a clustered column over here. The next option is to actually use a bubble option. And what you can see over here now, because we've got two options at the moment, is using an actual pie graph to be able to show us the different relative contributions. Down here as well, we can see now our layers is also showing as our legend at the moment to be able to show us how this is showing us our data. We also have one over here called a heat map. So this shows a little bit different. Here's our heat map over here, and you can see our different colors over here. So these are quite low cells over here. Probably if we've got a China, we'd see that they'd be a little bit higher. Let's go to our settings. Maybe we can change our color scale a little bit more. Let's put that in. And the radius of influence becomes a little bit easier to read. Let's go back to Europe. And there we go. You can see these are a lot larger now. So changing these differences on the settings do make quite a difference. As you can see, that comes down quite a bit. And there's color scale. The last one over here is actually to change it to the different regions. Again, you can see on my legend over here it's got the different coloring, and you can see down at the bottom it's just processing the different values at the moment. So it's just waiting for Bing to do the calculations, and as you can see now it's actually coloring in the different regions that we sell in with the sales amount according to it. Now, as you can see at the moment, the sales goes from kind of a dark color to a lightish color over here. Again, if we went to our settings, we could change our color scale and so on. And you can see our opacity, which really controls our transparency levels, can also be changed. If we went to China, we'll probably see this will be a little bit darker. So there's just colors in the different areas according to the color scale that we are actually using. And again, if we wanted to, we could change this to different colors. Here we could use a red, for example. So these are the different types of options we've got when it comes to actually being able to show our colors. We can use our columns, for example. We can change our shapes. Let's change it back to the default square. We can change our settings. We can change our height, thickness, and so on. So there's a number of different options we could use. And over here is our legend, which will show us different types of colors and things we're working with. You can also import a two-dimensional chart. So if you wanted to actually see your cells, as you can see, the United States is by far the highest. The rest are pretty small in comparison. And you can change your different graph types over here. Again, now we can have this as a bar chart or as a stacked bar chart. Obviously, we'd need more than one item if we're going to use a stacked bar chart. Okay, so in this lesson, we're just looking at showing you different forms of visualizations that you can use within your Power Map. This concludes the lesson.